being recorded.
Yes, welcome everybody to another session of the XStepCafe. Today we didn't have any topic announced, and that's also reflected in the number of participants. We just have one so far, but we start anyway with some questions from Manuel. Okay.
Yeah, the question is, what about the news on PI sheet about S4HANA?
So for concerning S4HANA on-premise, there's a so-called compatibility pack and a compatibility list that is attached to the official documentation. This means there are a couple of applications that are part of S4HANA on-premise, so really focus on on-premise, that are, let's say, taken from, let's say, the business suite, as you know, but are not, let's say, optimized for using SAP Fiori or other UI techniques, or being optimized for the S4HANA HANA database management system that's below S4HANA on-premise. And here we have, let's say, functionality, execution steps, PI sheet, electronic batch records. They're still part of this functionality, but we also, the compatibility pack says if there might be successor in near or far future, it is possible that those applications that belong to the compatibility pack are replaced. There are some statements indicating, okay, if a new successor is announced, then there might be a kind of a migration, but currently, we have no official statement about any successor. So if you would upgrade to an S4HANA on-premise, let's say 15.11 release, then you still have the possibility to use browser-based PI sheets or electronic batch records and similar functionality. But but they don't our PI sheets. They don't support UIs like SAP Fiori, and also one has also to distinguish between S4HANA on-premise and on-cloud. For cloud, most of the manufacturing scenarios are currently not released, up to my knowledge. Here also please rely on the documentation. We have also some functionality and UI techniques that do not work in a cloud environment, especially things like screens or dimples that are based on SAP WinGUI. This is different from SAP S4HANA on-premise. We are still able to use those applications that you have that need an SAP WinGUI, but of course, tendency is really to go for UIs or replace such UIs against UIs that are, let's say, more designed in a way that like SAP Fiori applications or apps are designed. So there's still discussion ongoing, but currently I cannot tell you anything about say potential successor so far. So that's it. And perhaps I can provide the linkage to the documentation and also to the compatibility pack for the community, so that you can check it. So it's also officially released. There are some, say, differences between applications that are part of the compatibility pack and those new applications that are specially designed and streamlined for S4HANA, I think with respect to maintenance. But here I also can check if there are any official documents. So I will just link those documents that are available on SAP Marketplace on the help portal that are already available for SAP customers. So does this somehow answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, we heard the same thing. So we're waiting for the for next release, which should be arriving end of October, no? Something like this.
Yes. So also those things that are published currently, we don't have any changes here. Of course, if we don't talk about S4HANA, if we talk about the classical business suite with the enhancement packages, perhaps you know that there's still that this story will still continue. So of course, I personally don't think that will have those major new developments in this development branch. But they increased the maintenance period for the classical business suite. I think it was 20 plus. So, but I can also check if I find official documents that pointed out here. But of course, the new product is S4HANA, and we'll wait what the future brings. Also depends on, let's say, the requirements and that SAP gets from the industries, that gets from the market, gets from the customers. Yeah, if say we get success applications, or perhaps we get something completely different. We don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I think another person joined.
So any more questions? Usually when we have a presentation, we struggle at the end to really cover all the questions that come. Not this time.
What we can say us is, we use PI sheet for quite a while now. We use company for process order and production order. We do a major update this summer on the layout. We change the complete design of the layout with a big button and new style sheet. We worked a lot with the XSL and CSS.
Okay, cool. So you're using your PR sheet on mobile devices, or touch screens, or what is the reason?
Yeah, we have some text area, so where the user doesn't have keyboards, so we need to have a better navigation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did that also in the past. So what is your experience doing that with the style sheet and CSS and XSL?
It's complex. It's complex because we struggle to find somebody who have knowledge on this. Because us internally, we don't have the knowledge. We don't have. So we, at the beginning, we work with one consultant which has the knowledge, and now we have to switch to another one with web-based consultants and try to work. We try to work with the offline system to build an offline system and after replicate it inside SAP. But yeah, it's quite a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And not so easy.
Yeah. Perhaps something to mention. I don't know if we have presented it. You might know that we have this Internet Explorer context menu, which uses an OCX controller. Currently, let's say we had this context menu that was based on an OCX control, and there was one development currently. I just checked. It's currently a pilot node, but we will release it as a standard node that allows you to get rid of this OCX control. And a colleague of mine, he completely set this context menu up using JavaScript methods. Arne might also be, let's say, a good idea to check. We had those trials with an Apple iPad, and when we had this, when you try to use it as a mobile device, and I think you had also trouble with the context menu. Perhaps it's now working better because the context menu is solely based on JavaScript parts.
So using WebGUI on the iPad and then also calling PI sheets, and that worked with the iPad.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So I think you tried it out with a VPN connection, but it would be perhaps we could do it offline. It would be nice to check how the system behaves if you have this context menu that's now JavaScript based in place. So we'll also talk to the colleague that we might release it for customers, because we had some also feedback. Those OCX control, this IE menu OCX control, it disappeared from the web page of Microsoft, and at all it's fairly better not to use those OCX controls, also with respect to security. And Arne, it seems that I haven't shown this functionality right now. Is it correct? I didn't remember if I showed it. So perhaps we can do it in the next
Check the last sessions what
yeah.
we did there.
Okay, yeah. I didn't remember it, but I had vacations, long vacation, and it's quite good. So my brain is completely reloaded, and okay.
Yeah, us, we for this menu, our people using Citrix, so we have some group which doesn't have the menu, and some group which have the menu.
Okay.
It was the way to deactivate.
Just browsing through the there.
Hi,
Meanwhile, any other? That's Raghu. Hi, Raghu.
Hi, how are you? And are you sharing screen? We could not see that.
No. Currently, we just doing Q&A, so we don't have any presentation. So any question you might have, we can handle. Yeah, Uwe, I think you're right. So the 06 thing we didn't do in the last time. So maybe that's is that something you can do right now, or is it something?
Oh, I'm just checking. I think I removed the 06 control from my PC. Perhaps I can. So just give me just a couple of seconds. If there are any questions, and I'll just try if it's working.
Yeah, I just have some strange stuff that happened now. I'm Cedric, I'm with Emmanuel in the same room. When copying a repository from a plan to another one, sometimes all is good, but currently we have an issue that in the repository we have basic block and process block. And when we modify basic block, it has no influence, and the process block still refer to the other repository. That's something really strange. I have not really analyzed it, but do you know if this had already happened to you? There is a note from a SAP before that. So I've not checked yet. It's just to discuss about it.
Mm-hmm. So you mean that you have a, let's say let's say a composite standard XStep that has a SXS reference node that is linked to say a kind of a basic SX standard XStep?
Yeah.
And is the SXS reference, is it exploded in the composite?
No, it's
No.
not exploded in the composite.
It's just referencing it, correct?
Yeah.
So you have linked it because it has to be released, or at least released and approved. Also, it might be worth to check it because currently we have, let's say, some activities ongoing with respect to SXS references and the corresponding SXS version data. Because perhaps you might remember we had some kind of trouble with SXS references that took the content of SXS versions that haven't been released, that weren't released when they were exploded. Of course, we provided a note, but we had also some demand from customers to provide more possibilities to execute checks at different places in the business processes, and also to have a possibility to identify which SXS version belongs to an opened SXS reference node. And here under preparation, this is also something that I would like to show in the next session of the XStepCafe, because it's quite interesting. But I haven't heard on similar problems so far. Emanuel, perhaps would be nice to check it, and if the problem persists, then please open an incident so the colleagues can have a look at.
Yeah, I think I will. It's the first time we used to copy some blocks from one repository, from one plant to another plant.
Yes.
It's the first time it happened for this plant. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna investigate a little bit, and then I think open an incident.
So, okay. Arne, I have one example in place, one really simple example that I can show with the So, okay, I will trust.
So you show the OCX replacement.
I show the OCX replacement. So it's nothing that's spectacular. Okay, I will just hope you can see browser-based PI sheet cockpit. Arne, just let me know if you can see the screen. That I shared it. Okay, a couple of seconds. Yes. Okay. What you see here is, let's say, also a browser-based PI sheet in the system where we deactivated the exit button. So we have, let's say, a different thing that we are working on. So don't be don't be shocked because the exit buttons are missing here. Now, if I just do the right click on, I just do right click on this input field, you see that the context menu pops up. There's one menu entry in German, just ignore about this. But this pop-up that was now called is completely built using JavaScript methods that we also provide, I think, as part of the browser framework. And so the look and feel is nearly the same. And automatically you get all those commands that are part of the corresponding UI element. So there's no big difference in between. There are slightly changes to the behavior, but they are already mentioned in this pilot node. Currently we have, let's say, taken this correction or this replacement as a pilot node, but as I mentioned before, I will ask the colleague that it can be released for customers, so you can also benefit from that you don't have to download this IMNE OCX control as it was let's say required before. So nothing really special, nothing really strange. I will just check. So I just also, if I click it in here, so I got an error message. I have to check what this is, but this could also be related. This is just a development system. So if you click it in here, you also see you have comments. There's a process instruction behind it that are related to this object. So concerning the content, nothing is different with respect compared with the context menu that was provided by the OCX control. So we take the same commands that exist before for the UI elements and just displayed it within this context menu part.
So one less thing for a message you need to answer, because I remember in the past the OCX was always which would happen.
Okay, and I think we also updated the node. So, but
just a comment. The document is still in German there, in the parentheses.
But
in the others as well.
Yeah. Perhaps this is also Prozessvergabe, which is but this
is
development system. The development system that really lacks of some translations, but surely we can check if the texts are properly translated. If you encounter problems with the translation, please just let us know, and we can have a look at it. So this is a development system. So I would just I logged in. Did I log in English? I think I logged in German. Could it be? Okay, just ignore it. Something gets mixed, but that's not the problem. It won't be delivered in this way. I can tell you. Okay, so then we'll just stop sharing. Okay, so I think now we also have time to answer different questions.
Yeah, there's one question from Raghu in the chat. Did you see this?
Okay, we are getting the below error registration of the step objects from.
Hi, this is Raghu.
Hi, Raghu.
Hi. This kind of error message we are getting very randomly, like when you do the table signature in the PA sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw some note to nullify this effect or remove the error. But we have that everything implemented, is updated everything, but I'm not sure why this is coming. Do you have any idea on this?
No, so it was just it does happen in relation with digital signature in the PI sheet. You said correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Do you know at which point in time? So I suppose that you use multi-step digital signature processes and get these errors. Is correct, or did you get it when the PI sheet loads and you have a step that consists of a digital signature?
Yeah, this error is coming. So your PA sheet is loaded, everything is ready. First line is already signed. When you try to sign the second line in the table, we get this error message. But for the same steps, we create one more PA sheet with the tables. Everything is there, and then we didn't get this error message.
Okay. So this is really strange. So So the message indicates CPOC is directly coming from the PI sheet and also seems to be related to the domain and model objects, to the step. But here I would also recommend to open incident, and if you haven't done it already yet, and provide the colleagues with an example. So I haven't seen this so far. Also my examples, yeah, but could be that let's say you get the system gets trouble when it tries to load the domain model. To what reason, whatever, we don't know. We can just guess, and then it will fire such error messages that then are displayed at the surface, which is quite not that nice because, as the end user, you cannot do anything against it. So, but I will have a brief check for the message number that is raised. Perhaps we get a lucky punch.
I have some information from from Google, so I can just send
Okay. So I have found one note that was released on July 14th of 2015. Sorry, but this is a different error message. I actually mistyped it. Oh no, yes, could be that it's related to. So this was also an error that's related to the update of the XML during loading the PI sheet. And we have one description, but it's quite old. It's from 2005 that says PI sheet CPOC 801 error in registration of the step object. So signature.
Uwe, did you see Raghu's link he posted in the chat? Yes.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. This is
note mention. Is that the one?
This is the one that I also found, but it's quite an old one. Perhaps we have to check if.
Yeah, we have all the OSS node updated, and then this one also is. So
currently, I just thought it. I will just check there are. Let's say there's one that I just mentioned. Perhaps would be helpful really to open an incident and let the colleagues check what's going on here, because the node that you linked, it's quite a very old one, and it should of course this correction should be part of any system.
I don't find anything other than this one.
but this is exactly the only one that I already also defined. Yeah.
And the other thing is we could not able to replicate the same issue again. We are using the same XSteps for another processor that's working perfectly fine.
Yeah. So this error, just check. So what I see. So the initial SAP node, it corrects say problems that are related to the data XML that is already also created and updated. So as you know, we have the so-called domain model, where we store also the data instances in the background, and that is loaded and matched with the style sheet parts to then get the PI sheet be displayed and this HTML control. But in parallel, we also have this data XML where we try to sync all the let's say the values that the user enters, also the signatures, and if I got it correctly, the old correction of node 820976, it tries to fix such elements that are related to the signature element tag of the XML, and it could be that you might get there might be some problems with respect to the synchronization of the XML, which is then also not directly related to the execution steps. It's then more related to the processing of the PI sheet. So the execution steps, they're just, let's say, the design time. And therefore, this is also something that you observe, that for some PI sheets that you created or loaded, that this error does not occur. So, but this may be also a hint when you observe this error, that the colleagues should check if something gets wrong with respect to the synchronization of the data XML. Yeah, it is, and here it's also directly related to digital signatures. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so advice to create a OSS message for this one, right?
Yeah, would recommend to do so. So might be so it's quite always good if you can provide a reproducible example, which might be not that easy in your case, but you can also let's say point to this SAP node. The colleagues normally they will also detect it, that so they might be able to check also at least put breakpoints in this code branches that have been corrected to check if there might be some side effects or also other influences that cause this trouble with updating the XML.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Cedric, I would have another question about the use of function module in the PI sheet. So in a table, for example, I use a function module called toggle values to switch from one value to another. This helps me to deactivate the line because I have also a command, table line deactivate. And this is really practical for business because they just have to push the button and the line is deactivated. But the thing is that the function module has to be executed if I want to complete a line. And I don't understand why. The thing is that the tips I have is to execute it manually and also triggered by the event table line completing. So at completing the line, it tries to execute the function module and the behavior, the result is good. But I would like to understand why a function module is mandatory before completing a line, or if there is a way to make it not mandatory to push the button to complete the line.
So I haven't got this constellation so far. So Arne, you have experience maybe similar experience in your past?
Yeah. Very dark in my brain. I think there is something itching, but I cannot point a finger to it. So,
Indeed, yes.
are there any parameters probably attached to that, which the system then regards as mandatory? That might be the thing, because I think there was something, if you have a function module and the input parameters, sort of the system, or something with the parameters where the system says, okay, these are mandatory because they are used in a function module. And that might be the issue.
Yeah, so that it has to be processed. Yeah. So we might check this. So currently, I don't know a reason for this. For the system.
You mean if I uncheck the mandatory checkbox on the parameters and try, I should not be.
I'm not sure whether there's really. I mean, you can of course check whether there's a mandatory flag. Where would that be, that mandatory flag, by the way? I mean, or in the function module.
I also look at display execution allowed, not allowed. I don't really know what the consequence of this field, but it still has some impact.
Yeah, I mean, in function, Uwe, help me out here a little bit. It's long ago that I did function modules, but I think you can have their parameters where you say, okay, these are mandatory, right? So, yes, but I'm not sure whether that is it, because I thought vaguely I can remember that there's some implicit rule somewhere which says, okay, any parameters there which are used in a function module are regarded as mandatory, and that might trigger this behavior. So, but that's just a guess. So
yeah. So I will briefly check if let's say the corresponding class seal function POC will give us some information about this. Yeah. But if you can solve it now, we'll try to clarify it until next cafe.
Did you check the OSS notes already with the search term function module and mandatory or something like that? Or
I have no. It's a long data issue I had in my file, but I think I had checked, but found no information about that. But I can check again from my side. It's just a whole question that remains in my mind. But
I think what I also did in the past was using drop-down parameters, which says yes or some value which you can sort of activate, and then that triggers something, which probably, I don't know whether that's viable for you. I mean, it's a little bit more effort than just pushing the button.
So my solution to even trigger this function module to table line completing works, but when you complete a line and there is some check in some of your parameters, when it's wrong, you close the pop-up and you cannot replace. I mean, the line deactivates really, so you have to fill another line with the same data. That's the side effect of this solution.
Yeah. So I've just found a piece of coding. You have this class seal underscore function underscore POC. And there's a method called execute internal. And I remember that we had some enhancements made for EHP3 with respect to those parameters. And you have some commands in the source coding that said, okay, check that all reading parameters have values, and then they also try to determine to get the values of such parameters. And if it fails, then they raise an exception. So it could be that it's related to the logic, and also we have had this flag of the characteristic in database table CABN, where you can mark a characteristic as being mandatory, and this is also something but I think that was introduced, and so there's some logic in there. So we can and also we think we introduced this master parameter, but so long ago EHP. So you're currently at EHP 8. So could be that it's related to these things.
But the characteristic, I mean, the value are filled at the PHP generation. I have one value 0, the other 1, and the last one 0, and I change. So they are filled at the generation. If they are mandatory, there should be no issue on that.
Okay. So we might check this using debugging. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Also something if this say this. If you don't find any recipe notes that cover this topic, would also be worth to create an incident for this. Yeah. So you see no direct reason for this. I'm just checking, also reading the interface. Yeah. Okay. So might be that we have also that this has also been checked more deeply with let's say debugging and the coding to understand what's going on there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Raghu has just asked the same question that Emmanuel has asked before. So, Raghu, just listen to the recording. But we don't have a real definite answer for you. So if you're expecting that,
okay.
So what I just said in the beginning, I will also provide for the community is the linkage to the official documents that are available for at least HANA on-premise. That explain a little bit more about, let's say, those compatibility packs. So in brief, the iSheet XStep's functionality is still part of the S4 HANA on-premise, but it's part of the compatibility pack. This means it could be replaced by a successor functionality if a successor functionality is available as a so-called functional equivalent. But
which on the other hand means if there is no successor functionality, the old function should or must work still. So
it still remains, but so I have to check if so the compatibility pack applications, they are treated a little bit different from the let's say from the S4 HANA basic new applications with respect to maintenance. But I will see that I'll be able to also to link such some official documents to the community, or to at least let's say post a one slider page. Yeah. Okay, I hope we get also some questions that we're able to solve.
Any more questions?
No.
If not, I don't mind having a short session today. Lots to do here. Okay, let's finish up. Maybe one question from my side. Maybe I'll also make a poll on the blog side. Because Uwe and I, we have other things, meetings, sometimes show up, and so we need to reschedule the cafe session. So I wonder whether that's how I handle it right now. Is I'm updating the information on the posts on the website on the right hand side here. So you can see it, look it up there, and I also had the habit now to have an emailing sent out 2 days in advance when we finally do it. So is that enough for you, or do you want to have a more the information on other channels when we postpone the cafe? That is the question I have. Anything from you guys on that?
Me, I look on the website on the update.
Okay. Okay. So that's enough for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then let's assume that this is okay. Maybe I just make a post and ask. Okay. Then have a nice day to you, and yeah, roughly in 2 months we try to do the next session. Okay?
Okay. Have a good time.
Until then, bye.
Okay, thank
Bye.
you.